I've been a follower of Jesus, a child of God for as long as I can remember. The seeds were sown in my life by loving parents who made sure that I went to Sunday school and to church when I was a child. There, I heard the stories of Jesus and the truths of the Bible. I was greatly influenced by CSSM at the seaside town of Greystones in County Wicklow, where we spent family holidays every year. At school, I was involved in the Scripture Union. And so these wonderful things were part of my childhood and teenage life. In those circumstances, it was easy to accept what was being handed down to me. But I needed to reach that point where this faith was not just something that I had grown up with, but that it would be my own. Teenage years are often the time when we look at ourselves and we question who we are and what we believe and what we want to do with our lives, and whether we wish to accept the values handed down to us from our parents or whether we want to plough our own furrow in the moral maze. And so by various means, including those that I've already mentioned, church, Sunday school, CSSM, Scripture Union, and the company and conversation of a deeply committed and zealous Christian friend, I came to realise that this faith was true. I wanted to follow Jesus because I wanted to. I wanted him to be Lord of my life. I wanted my future to be in his hands. I felt this faith to offer all the answers, and I came to see that just having grown up with all of these blessings was not enough. I had to acknowledge and confess my own sin and seek God's forgiveness and commit myself to him, which I did. At Edinburgh University, I studied German and French, and I was involved with the Christian Union and attended some great churches in that city. I can truly say that deciding to follow Jesus was the best thing I ever did. And I've done some other great things too, getting married and having a family and so on, and achieving various things. Those are all great, but I would not wish to give the impression that all has been smooth and it's been easy sailing for me. I've often let God down. I've not lived up to his standards. I've occasionally been deliberately disobedient. But the amazing and humbling and thrilling thing for me is that God has never let me down. He's never let me go. He has lovingly and gently and always received me back and forgiven me. I read in the Bible that we are God's workmanship. We are a work in progress. And so God is still working in my life. If I was more obedient and cooperative, the job would be a little bit easier for him, I'm sure. But what a patient, loving Father he is. Throughout my life, since those early days, God has blessed me and guided me. I had a number of serious options for my life's path. I had a very serious notion of joining the army, or of going into business, or teaching, which is in fact what I did for 3 years. But I always felt God was calling me to be a minister in his church. And so I applied and I was accepted, and I've served God in this capacity for most of my adult life now. I sometimes thought that my initial study of languages would have been a little bit wasted, but it shows that God had a bigger plan for my life and that everything fits together in his scheme. My linguistic interests greatly helped me as I studied for the ministry, for while many of my colleagues struggled with Hebrew and Greek, I loved those subjects. Later on, as a member of the Presbyterian Church, I had the opportunity to represent our wider church at a number of overseas events where my linguistic knowledge was a great advantage. And so God knows best, and nothing happens in our lives that he cannot use. And that's the exciting thing as I face the future. I want to remain faithful to him. I want each day to know Jesus better, to know my Bible better, to live more for him. And it's not over yet. I know that as life goes on, the best is yet to come, for one day I will join Jesus in heaven. My testimony is not over yet. Now, I don't have a favourite Bible verse. I love the whole Bible. But just now that verse from 1 John 3 comes to my mind. How great is the love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God.